What's up? It's Fishheads IV. Today I have a special video for you. As you can see, this is my 55-gallon, I don't want to say grow, it's like a grow out tank, just my plants going crazy. No fish, CO2s, and all that. But that's not what I want to talk to you guys about today. Today, oh, real quick, if you ever want to spice up a black stand or anything like that, I took this 55-gallon wrought iron stand, right, painted it like a nice hot freaking fire red, and then on top of that went down to my local fabric shop, got a little bit of fabric here, got some clips, and then underneath here one of those bathroom bars, kind of like, or curtain bars I guess, and so I kind of clipped them on there, so it just makes it a little bit easier. Whoop. Today let's talk about the Fluval G6. I've been running this filter for a couple months now. I think I started beginning of last summer, around then. I used to have a 175-gallon planted tank. I'll show you guys that in another video. It used to be here, but now it's not. So, Fluval G6, real quick. Let's see how it's doing. Can I focus on that? Hold on. Manual focus. There we go. I actually don't play around with this too much. One thing I really look at is the flow and then the temperature, which is right up here. You can see that. It's actually a pretty quiet filter. Now, Fluval's gone to some extent to make that happen. And what I mean is, the actual casing itself is actually like a thicker, heavier duty plastic to help reduce some of the noise. Same with the impeller. It's kind of placed in a way where it's a little out of the way, less close to the front, less vibrations and all that. The hosing on it is really expensive, and that is because it's actually really thick and a custom hose built just for this filter, again to help reduce noise and improve water flow. Now, this filter can range anywhere from like, I don't know, $300, $400, $500. It's like an FX5, you know what I mean? It's kind of a pricier filter. They do make a smaller model of this called the Fluval G3. Stop moving. There we go. They make a smaller model of this called the Fluval G3. It's a little bit shorter than this. I'm not sure of the capacity of that one. I think this one's about 400 gallons an hour. It's not too bad. Whoop, there we go. Again, it's a quiet filter. It has a lot of functionality here on the. There we go. On this, you can kind of cycle through, you know, your temperature, connectivity. I don't know what the connectivity is really for. It's kind of like a weird TDS meter, I guess. This tells me my temperature, how it's been doing since I've had it, connectivity, flow. You can kind of see it started off at 100%, and then drops down, and then goes back up. These are usually like when I do services, like when I go and like service the tank itself. Oh. You can set all the settings, mechanical, biological, schedule. I don't really do that. I do a water change about once a week, and go to escape. Whoop. Escape. There we go. I do a pretty frequent water change in this tank, and since there's nothing really polluting it, at least nothing that I would consider pollutant, a bunch of little fish in there. I gotta clean the glass. Not really much in the way of debris in there, which is nice. So let's go over how this thing works and why I like it. If you ever want to shut off the flow and you want to kind of access this panel here, I don't know if you can see it, it's a little dark, again a little dirty, my bad. You flip this lever up, that'll cut the water circulation. You open this up, and there's two little, well, these are your cartridges. Here's your priming pump. See, water flow has just been cut off. So let's take a second here. I'll unplug it for you. Okay. Now this filter will not run if there's air in the system, at least a significant amount of air to where it's going to be chopping at it constantly, making a lot of noise and really doing some damage to the impeller. So this will actually cut itself off if it senses that in there. There's a bunch of little microprocessors in there to allow you to do that. Right here, turn this here. I'll wait for that to come up, I guess. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so I crank this, that unlocks and allows me to pull this up. Now this is the first cartridge. This is the one it came with, and this helps kind of catch all the major debris and all that before putting it through the tank. Whoop. Click. This one over here, you can buy different ones of these, right? You can get different sized cartridges for this, and you can get, this is our carbon filter. Let's unlock that. What the hell? Alright, don't mind me as I fail at my own filter that I've freaking... There we go. Filter cartridge, it's packed nice and tight in there. This is all the carbon. Carbon's usually only good for like maybe like 1 or 2 weeks, if that. You don't really need it for too much longer. And you can get stuff to reduce nitrates and get more carbon and all that. Honestly, it's all kind of packed in there, and I don't want to mess with it too much. I wish I can kind of pull that carbon out and just let it free flow, or maybe double as another biological filter. In here, I want to say there's about 3 or 4 canisters. It's stacked pretty well with biological material. I got ceramic rings in there and some of the stuff that it came with. So that's nice. You know, it's, since this, there we go. Since this does a good job of keeping all the major debris and detritus out of the main filter system, that means all this gets its really fine particles of waste, and that allows for better bacteria consumption and better turnover of the filtration rate. Right, the carbon will help kind of keep the ammonias down and all that, but again, you don't really need it. If these guys are doing their job, that's all you really need. Good water flow, obviously. Now, each one of these can go for, I don't know, about $20 to $30 depending on what one you want to get. They're a little bit pricey. This cartridge right here runs for about, I want to say like $25, and it's again pretty pricey, I think, for replacing this. And since it's really unique to the filter, you can't just go out and get like a coarse filter pad and all that. But I bought this filter here in Fairport at ABC, and the guys there told me that, you know what, you can take this cartridge out and treat it like a filter sock for a reef system, in the sense that you can kind of throw it in some water with bleach and let it kind of clear out. Now, what that would tell me too is it would be a good idea to have one extra of these, right? That way you can have one ready and clean, and then when this one gets dirty, you swap them out. But honestly, the filter cartridges last quite a while. I think I went about almost 3 months on a really I say that it was taking some abuse in terms of like the amount of waste it was managing before it even prompted me, hey, you know, your filter level's a little low. So that's not too bad. Now we can close this, the water flow back in there. I'll plug this back in. Whoop. Welcome to Fluval G6. There you go, it's turning on. This will crank itself up nice and slowly. Now the bubbles you see there are a little bit left over from some air they got into the system. That's my fault. Whoop. There you go. See, full filter rate, which is nice. Now this doesn't have the same capacity as, like, say, some of the E-Heims in terms of like water flow, but depending on the application, again, if you're running like a heavily fish stock tank and you have a bunch of large fish and they're making a lot of waste and you want a lot of, you know, water current flow, you can go with a stronger filter. Now in this case, I'm running plants. Now with plants, fish waste isn't really a problem. You know, as long as I'm not kicking it up when I'm moving it around in there and having like a powdering of waste and everything, all that waste that sinks to the bottom, you know, will turn into mulch. It'll help establish more bacteria, and it'll help feed these plants. If it becomes too excessive, I can always vacuum it out. Again, not a big problem, hence why I don't need crazy water flow in here, just enough to kind of break up the surface. Now the reason you're seeing bubbles in there is because, see this airline, whoop, right down at the bottom there, a little bit of CO2. I don't know if I can get a, whoop. You see that? Really fine CO2 bubbles are kind of coming up. Some of them are getting captured into the filter, and they're really fine. Whoop. Now the trick with CO2 is, if you're going to run CO2, keep it consistent, and the longer amount of contact time this stuff has with the water column, the more effective it's going to dissolve into your system. Now I tried a million different ways to look online as to how I can dissolve the CO2 in here, and I've tried a few different methods. But I think just for simplicity's sake, I'll just do this. You know, fine bubbles are not going to hurt the filter. Fine enough to where they can get sucked up, brought down, all the way back up, and then pushed out back into the system. I think it's going to be really effective. Whoa, snail love. Let's see if I can't capture this thing just spinning. Liz, what are you doing? What the heck is this thing doing? Now, I'm not really a big fan of these rat tail snails, or ram's horn snails, I should say. I haven't seen them do any real damage to the plants, so I'm not too worried. I just don't like the look of them, and I know they reproduce like freaking bunny rabbits. So what I think I might do is, I don't have any fish in this tank currently, but if I get like an assassin snail, I can get them in there and they'll take out these snails. Or another great way to add like livestock to your tank while at the same time, you know, getting rid of a pest problem, like this little guy. What are you doing? Get off my glass. A loach, clown loach specifically. Sorry, gotta do manual focus and all this. Whoop. There we go. Clown loach will help get rid of that snail problem. But I hope you guys enjoy. I'm definitely a fan of this filter. It's quiet, it's effective. Make sure I cut the hose pretty much in half and then I put it on the tank. If you do cut this hose, it is very expensive in terms of hose cost. When you go to set up your tank, measure like 2-3 times and definitely make sure you count for everything when it comes to setting up the tank. Because you do not want to cut this hose, right, only to find out that you cut it wrong and now you have like useless hose. So just keep that in mind. Camera cut out on me. Just keep that in mind for the next time you guys go to set up a filter. Just again, take your time with it. I struggle to get this thing to prime it first. I don't really, if anything, I don't really care for this priming system. I hate I get to press it and wait and press it and then wait. I wish I had like a little pomp or something. But all in all, I really like it. I'm satisfied with it. I'm thinking, you know, how would you guys feel about a raffle? You know what I mean? I see people doing contests on here to get more subscribers and views and all that. So I was just thinking, like, I could set up some sort of raffle. Like, you buy a ticket or something, say like what, like, I don't know, like $5 to get a ticket in. And then in turn, you know, we'll do like a month-long competition or a month-long raffle, and then the winner will end up walking away with a brand new Fluval G6. So I think it'd be a good idea. But let me know what you think. Be sure to comment, subscribe. You know, leave me any questions you might have. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see on here, or at least any products you want me to look at, and let you know what my thoughts are on them. And I want to try this. Alright, so if you want to, you can subscribe here, watch the previous video here, or watch the next video up in this right hand corner. So you guys have a great afternoon, and I will talk to you next time. Ciao.